and that it's advancing on Khan Yunis in particular. What we've seen there in about 20% of the area of the city, according to the UN, and according to this sort of area that's marked in an online map that's published by the Israeli military on social media, that is where some 170,000 people are affected by these orders to evacuate, and they include about 50,000 people who are already internally displaced. And the UN is saying that the areas that they're being told to move to, most of them to the west, are already very overcrowded.
A Ukrainian soldier who's fought in a pocket of territory that Ukraine has recaptured on the Russian-held side of the Dnipro River has described the conditions there as hell. He's told the BBC both the river crossing and the retaken land are under constant fire. The soldier alleges some Ukrainian fighters feel abandoned by their commanders. The BBC spoke recently to Russian soldiers who spoke of their own heavy losses. Venezuelans have voted overwhelmingly in favour of approving the nation's territorial claim to the oil-rich Essequibo region of neighbouring Guyana, but turnout in the non-binding referendum is reported to have been low. The two countries have disputed the sovereignty of Essequibo since the 19th century. Here's Katie Watson.
Guyana's leader did try and reassure his people that they didn't need to worry, that they had security in hand. You've also got to realise that Venezuela has only just had some oil sanctions lifted by the US, so any signs of aggression could also see that undone. So I think Venezuela has to tread a careful path with the next steps. And I think this is, again, posturing. I mean, it's something that the region certainly is watching closely, whether or not anything will actually happen in the immediate aftermath of these results.
Leader of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, is again in China for talks with Xi Jinping. Both leaders have been criticised for their ongoing support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Stephen McDonnell reports.
Alexander Lukashenko told Xi Jinping that his country was and will be a reliable partner for China. He's known as a staunch ally of Moscow, and Belarus was used by Russian troops to launch their invasion of Ukraine, an act which Beijing has still not criticised. Prior to visiting China, the Belarusian leader told the UN Climate Conference that wars were the main source of pollution in Europe, despite his government having offered significant support to Russia's war effort in Ukraine.
BBC News. Rescue teams on the western Indonesian island of Sumatra have found the bodies of 11 hikers killed after Mount Merapi, an active volcano, spewed ash 3 kilometres into the air on Sunday. 12 people are still missing, but about 50 were brought off the 2,900-metre high mountain. Heavy rains and strong winds have battered India's southeastern coast after a depression over the Bay of Bengal intensified into a powerful cyclonic storm. Many residential areas in the city of Chennai have been flooded. Footage on social media showed cars being washed away. The UN Climate Conference in Dubai is set to return to the thorny issue of boosting funds for climate action and disaster support. With the departure of most world leaders, it will be left to ministers, officials and non-governmental groups to tackle financing in today's agenda. The US Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, John Kerry, told the BBC what he's hoping for from the conference.
I hope we're going to raise ambition on a global basis because we're behind in the reduction of cutting emissions. I hope that we will break new ground on finance because we desperately need much larger sums of money investing in order to effect this transition. I'm very hopeful that the global stocktake, this is the first measurement of where we are since Paris, and that needs to be an honest, open, transparent, forceful, candid document, which really lays out the gaps where they exist and what do we need to do to get where we need to go.
Spotify, the world's largest music streaming platform, says it will reduce the number of its employees by around 17%. The CEO said he was taking what he called substantial action because of the gap between the company's financial goals and its operational costs. The decision comes despite the company showing a profit in the third quarter. BBC News.
Hello, this is The History Hour with Max Pearson. Remarkable stories from witness history on the BBC World Service. Coming up, the world's first solar-heated house, Cameroon's deadly Lake Nyos disaster in 1986, and the courtroom battle of the Cabbage Patch Doll. First, though, we're going to Peru. In 1969, a farmer called Gustavo del Solar received an unusual assignment. He was asked to find a bird called the white-winged guan, which had been regarded as extinct for a century. Gustavo's son has been helping Ben Henderson unravel this positive piece of ecological history.
The bird is charcoal colored with white outer wings feathers, red throat. The head is featherless and is the size of a chicken. If you see it, it's a really elegant bird wearing something like a suit or tuxedo. It's a really elegant. It's only missing the tie. It really has a distinctive call. When they are upset, and it starts doing a noise like because they want to threaten. But when they are calm, they will do a noise like. And if they got excited, they go like. I did my best.
Now that may sound like an authentic recording of the bird, but it is in fact Rafael del Solar, Gustavo del Solar's son. And as you can tell, he's very much at one with nature.
My father, he lived in the northern part of Peru. It's a valley, and in the surroundings you have the Andes mountains. It's really beautiful. He was dedicated to agriculture. He really liked the outdoors. Also, he loved the guns and hunting, of course. We went with my father hunting together. When I was really young, like 15 years old, he taught me how to, handle guns in a safe manner. He also taught me how to drive a truck. It was really, really exciting. And handling the guns and stuff, I felt like a cowboy. It was like feeling total freedom.
Gustavo took his hunting trophies to be stuffed at the Natural History Museum in Peru's capital, Lima. On a visit in 1969, he bumped into an ornithologist called Maria Kepka. She had heard stories that the white-winged guan was actually still living deep in Peru's wilderness. Years later, Gustavo recalled their conversation on Peruvian media.
Me preguntó si en mis correrías por olmos no ha visto usted alguna vez.
She asked him if in any of his adventures he had seen a blackbird whose wings were white when it flied, and he said, "No, doctor, I haven't." So she said, "Could you please look for it?" So for him, he thought, okay, she's asking me to search for a bird that had been extinct for a century. So it was quite an assignment. So it is intriguing, right? And it was also a challenge for him. So he thought, okay, I'll do everything I can. And he did. He knew that he would have to rely on the local residents. And he offered some incentive to these people to search for the bird. And in different occasions, some local residents came to my dad's house claiming that they have seen the bird, but when he asked the description of the bird, he noticed that it wasn't the one. But after 1 year, 2, 3 years, nothing happens, then you think, okay, this bird is really extinct. So, yes, he felt hopeless. So finally, after many years, a local resident, Sebastián Chinchay, visited my dad, and he reported that he had really seen the bird. So my father gave, the wrong description, but Sebastian corrected him and said, no, it is not white, it is charcoal colored. Okay, so does it has a yellow outer wing feathers? No, they are white. And is it really small like a dove? No, it is big like a small turkey. So then he knew that Sebastian was talking about the right one. He knew that Sebastian nailed it.
Finally, after years of disappointment, surely this was it. Filled with excitement, Gustavo, Sebastian, and an American ornithologist called John O'Neill headed into the mountains to find the elusive bird.
The place where he is seeing the bird is a ravine. It has mountains with bushes and trees. It's like a dry forest, which is alive. It is really beautiful. They took the track through paths that are made by the cattle, and then they have to walk for several hours. And finally, they saw it. they were able to take some footage with my father's camera. Okay, so checking on this video is really exciting to see what my father saw that day and all the emotion that he felt. He's filming the bird. You clearly see here how is the habitat of the bird. You can see it flying here. It's amazing with the white feathers at the tip of the wings. This moment had to be glorious. So they saw the bird, they had it on camera. He remembered, Maria told me that the way to collect it is to shoot it. So he thought, okay, but what if this one is the last one? But then John O'Neill told him, no worries. I mean, that's the only way for science to collect a bird. And if there's one, there will be certainly more. So this is what we have to do to preserve it. So once they collected, with the shotgun, he gave it as a present to the museum. This moment had a big impact around the world. I have many pieces from the newspapers all around the world, South America, Europe, Asia, US, Los Angeles, Herald. White-winged one discovered, San Francisco, Associated Press. Extinct bird. There's one in German, one seems to be in French. It says something like, the pois silence, on a vain pass revue, the one, I don't know. A prince from Romania came to visit the bird. I remember that when I was a kid. Oh, the prince is coming to the house and stuff like that, It was a little bit crazy, but something more interesting started from that moment on. Now that he had discovered this bird that it was believed extinct, he felt like it was his fifth kid.
Thankfully, John O'Neill was right. Where there was one white-winged guan, there were more. Gustavo hadn't killed the final member of the species, and he even made them part of the family.
And he started a mini zoo in our home with a small cage, and then they are really noisy, especially in the mornings, so we had to live with that for quite some year until he moved this little zoo farther away from the house to a bigger space. From one chick we went to over 100 birds. There was also 2 or 3 years ago, I think, the government issued a commemorative coin. So the idea of this coin, one soul coin, is to raise awareness for the importance of the species, and happens to be that the coin is the most commonly used one within the country. Seeing the bird in the nature, flying free, knowing that the efforts of my father were behind those images that now I and many people can see, it's amazing.
Thanks to Gustavo's work, the Peruvian government protected the white-winged guan, and its population continued to grow. Gustavo died in 2008. His son, Rafael, works in the shipping industry, but still loves the outdoors, driving around in trucks as he did with his father, feeling like a cowboy, free as a bird.
Ben Henderson was speaking to Rafael del Solar, the son of the late Gustavo del Solar, saviour of the white-winged guan. And you can see a photo of Gustavo with one of the impressive birds on our website. Search for bbcworldservice.com/witness history. Happily, the story of the white-winged guan is not the only one of survival from the brink of being wiped out, and Michelle Nijhuis is the author of Beloved Beasts, Fighting for Life in an Age of Extinction. So, Michelle, there are several such stories, but let's just focus on a few particular examples of human intervention in the saving of species.
Yes, the whooping crane is a crane species that migrates across the continent in North America, and it became incredibly rare early in the 20th century. And in the 70s and 80s, a small group of conservationists recognized that if radical action wasn't taken, this species was on its way to extinction. So some whooping cranes were taken into captivity, and a lot of work was done to encourage them to mate and produce chicks in captivity, to the point where George Archibald, who is a very well-known crane conservationist, acted as the mate of one female
crane in all but doing the deed. He did mating dances to encourage the crane to get into the mood, so to speak. He lived alongside the crane, kept her company, and the chicks that resulted from this captive breeding were carefully raised by hand. They were introduced to the wild, and then they were trained to complete these long distance, multi-thousand mile migrations by humans in ultralight aircraft who showed them the way. So this was an incredibly time and labor intensive effort to bring the species back from the brink by literally saving the cranes one by one and reteaching them how to behave as their ancestors had.
Is there any record of when humans first noticed and started to care about animal extinctions? Because there's such a long history of us exploiting the natural world.
Of course, humans have probably practiced conservation since the beginning of human history. I mean, there are records going back millennia of communities, for instance, suspending hunting so that they would have enough of a certain kind of animal for the following season. Today, there are many conservationists who are recognizing how much we have to learn from some of those much older practices. But the awareness that society was capable of driving entire species globally extinct, not just locally extinct, but globally extinct, that really didn't happen until the mid-19th century, when people in Europe and North America recognized that the global reach of their societies was having an impact on species, even with a really wide geographic range, even physically large, really abundant species like the American bison. And that was something that had been really inconceivable before. It took a while for society to grapple with that realization because before then, people had essentially believed that species were created by God and were static, did not appear or disappear, did not change all that significantly over time. And the idea that humans were capable of wiping out these seemingly powerful, abundant species was quite a shock.
So is it too simplistic to say that it was the Industrial Revolution that has caused humans to be so casual about extinction?
Well, I think the Industrial Revolution sparked the understanding of how easily a species can go extinct at our hands, sometimes even without our knowing it or without our having recognized and named that species. So, yes, the Industrial Revolution vastly increased our power to drive species extinct, but it also led some people with great foresight to recognize that we have the power to protect species from those powerful forces and to keep them on the planet with us.
Michelle, many thanks. That's Michelle Nijhuis, author of Beloved Beasts, Fighting for Life in an Age of Extinction. From saving animals to saving the planet. Well, these days, as the world struggles to reduce dependency on fossil fuels, it's not unusual to see buildings designed to harness the power of the sun through solar panels. But it might be a surprise to many to learn that it's 75 years since 3 eminent women came together to create the world's first home to be heated by energy from the sun. Here's Vicky Farncombe.
It's the 3rd of December 1948, and a family of Hungarian refugees are moving into their new home in rural Massachusetts, in the northeast of the US. But this is no ordinary home. The Dover Sun House is the first real home to be heated entirely by solar power, and it's been designed by women. Here's what the press had to say about it.
She trapped the sun.
World's first sun-heated home.
Sun furnace in your attic.
Woman scientist collaborates with woman architect to design dwelling.
The house of the day after tomorrow is on the way.
If you imagine sort of an elongated flying cheese wedge, it was unlike anything anybody had ever built before, with a sloping roof and big, tall windows on the top. The backside that was facing to the north was this long corridor. And I would ride my tricycle up and down the corridor, so it was a wonderful play area for a kid to have.
That's Andrew Nemethy, who moved into the house on his 3rd birthday with his parents. The trio had fled Hungary for the US towards the end of the Second World War when the Soviet army moved in. They were invited to live at the Dover Sun House for just $100 a month by their cousin Maria Telkesh, who was the brains behind the house. But the cheap rent came at a price. The family had to agree to open the doors up to anyone who fancied a peek inside their futuristic home. And there were plenty.
People really didn't know what to make of it, and that's why we had thousands of people who came to visit. But back then, I think coming out to the country was sort of a wonderful, Sunday excursion for people who lived in the city. Women well dressed up in their Sunday best, and they would be outside, and they would have a drink to toast the house, or it was quite the social event. And my father, who was very engaging and intellectual and understood how the house worked, he gave the tours, and my mother would smile. And we did that for 2 years.
So what did people learn about the unique solar heating system? Pay attention. Here's a short science lesson from Professor Maria Telkesh that featured on the TV show John Hopkins Science Review in June 1954.
The sun's energy is absorbed in this glass roof structure consisting of 2 aerospace glass plates, a metal plate situated behind, and an air duct to which air is circulated down into a heat storage bin. The heat storage bin is filled with containers holding a chemical. The chemical melts under the influence of the sun's heat and stores the heat until it is needed. This means it is possible to heat the house even if on a cold winter day there is a blizzard.
As well as its groundbreaking science, there was something else special about the house. At a time when men dominated the worlds of science and industry, the house was created by 3 women. Heiress Amelia Peabody, who funded it, architect Eleanor Raymond, who designed it, and biophysicist Maria Telkesh, who created the heating system. The unusualness of their collaboration was summed up in this newspaper report from the time.
The house of the day after tomorrow is envisaged by a woman scientist and an architect of the same sex.
Of the 3 women, it was the Hungarian Maria Telkesh who was the biggest source of wonder to the press.
She was extremely engaging, charismatic woman. This was the day of Zsa Zsa Gabor and famous Hungarian movie stars, and because of her accent, which was kind of an alluring accent, so she was a woman who fit into no pigeonhole. There was no way to be able to describe who she was, and the people who wrote about her were the people who followed social circles in the arts in Massachusetts. And they variously described her as auburn-haired and blonde, and they described her characteristics and her mannerisms and the way she talked as being this kind of exotic person. But she was also this incredibly focused, brilliant scientist, and that was just not something that they could wrap their heads around. The coverage was almost comical.
Petticoat Prometheus harnesses sun power. Lady scientist harnesses the sun. Woman scientist puts sun to work.
Maria's passion for solar energy saw colleagues dub her the Sun Queen. She worked at the prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where other prototype solar houses were being built. But her ability to market her ideas so successfully did not make her popular with her male colleagues.
In the world of academics, you did not go out and sell yourself in the way that she did, so she just rubbed so many people the wrong way. She was catching the limelight, and I'm sure they were saying, what the hell is going on here? She's like a media personality, and this is not the way we do things. She had several backers, interestingly, among the high-level supporters at MIT who were friends with the president, and she had powerful friends at the same time, and perhaps that rubbed people the wrong way also. So it was a volatile mix in the 1950s to have somebody like Maria there.
Despite its marketing success, behind the scenes, Maria's solar house experiment was not going so smoothly.
If the house had been built anywhere else, like in New York or New Jersey or something, it probably would have worked fine. It was just that Massachusetts was a little bit too cold when we had spells where we had too many cloudy days that the heating system could not keep up. So there was cold air creeping in. And my mother very quickly said, the house is too cold. It's not working so they brought in electric heaters. And so when the people came to visit, we had to hide the electric heaters in the closets.
After 2 winters, the heating system packed up altogether. The continuous melting and cooling of the chemical salts stopped them working properly. Maria was philosophical about the failure. She told a conference at MIT in 1950,
"The problem of the sun-heated house cannot be solved by 1 or 2 experimental houses, but each new house is another experimental stepping stone toward the use of the sun as a fuel resource."
A conventional heating system using oil was installed in the Dover Sun House, keeping Andrew's parents warm as they lived there for the rest of their lives, still paying the same $100 a month rent. After they died, Andrew was offered the chance to buy it.
Which I probably should have done because the land it was on was worth a fortune, but it was an unusual house to live in, and it would have taken some maintenance at that point. Eventually, some people bought the property, and they said that they had looked at trying to preserve the house and restore it, and it was just basically not worth the effort, and so they tore it down.
Maria Telkesh continued to research solar energy throughout her life, inventing a solar oven and a solar-powered water distilling system, as well as more solar homes.
She just barreled on through and did not let a bunch of guys stand in her way. And she totally fits in that category of somebody who's genius and whose skills are only today, being recognized.
Maria died in 1995 and was inducted into the US National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2012. Even though the Dover Sun House ultimately failed, there are now millions of solar homes in the world today.
Vicky Farncombe was speaking to Andrew Nemethy, who had the honour of growing up in the world's first solar-heated home. There's more from the History Hour in just a moment.
This is the BBC World Service, where best-selling authors discuss their best-known novels with Harriet Gilbert for World Book Club.
After a while, the characters start talking to you. I know that sounds spooky, but I did write most of this novel at 3 a.m. in the morning with the door slamming in the house.
The Seven Moons of Marley Almeida is a darkly funny satire by Sri Lankan author Shehan Karunatilaka.
You want to ask the universe what everyone else wants to ask the universe. Why are we born? Why do we die? Why anything has to be? And all the universe has to say in reply is, I don't know, idiot, stop asking.
It has ghosts, evil spirits, unscrupulous politicians, even a tragic love affair.
I really thought I was writing a conventional detective story. You have a corpse, you have 5 or 6 suspects, you have a few twists. I mean, the only difference is the corpse is the detective.
Even Agatha Christie didn't think of that one.
World Book Club at bbcworldservice.com/World Book Club or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up in part 2 of the History Hour, how Tanzania used Swahili as the language of unity after independence, the strange history of the 1980s craze for Cabbage Patch dolls, and the lake in Cameroon that spewed poisonous gas in 1986, killing thousands of people and animals.
When we got up to the lake itself, it was just a disaster area. We had been swimming in the lake just a year before, and now it was completely transformed.
First, a news summary.
BBC News with Emily Thomas. Israel has told almost 200,000 Gaza residents to move further south as it continues a ground invasion of the territory. But it says it's not trying to move them permanently from Gaza. A Dutch court is hearing a case alleging that the country is complicit in what are being called war crimes in Gaza because it allows the export of fighter plane parts to Israel. The case has been brought by rights groups. A Ukrainian soldier says the conditions on the eastern bank of the Dnipro are difficult, with heavy shelling and supply problems. Kiev has established a bridgehead there. Russia is suffering heavy losses in the fighting. Venezuelans have approved establishing a new state in neighbouring Guyana. The territory it claims has rich oil deposits. Guyana says Venezuela is trying to start a conflict. The bodies of 11 hikers have been found after a volcanic eruption in Sumatra in western Indonesia. 12 people are still missing. A 3-kilometre zone around Mount Merapi has been closed off. The COP28 climate summit is continuing in Dubai with funding climate action and disaster support on the day's agenda. World leaders have now left the meeting and the issues will be addressed by ministers, officials and non-governmental groups. The troubled Chinese property giant Evergrande has been given an extra month in which to put together a restructuring plan. The company has debts of more than $300 billion. Coastal regions in southeastern India have been hit by heavy rains and powerful winds as a cyclonic storm approaches. It's expected to make landfall on Tuesday, but parts of Chennai have already been flooded. The music streaming platform Spotify is cutting its workforce by almost a fifth, despite being profitable. The company said the layoffs were needed to meet financial goals. BBC News.
Welcome back to part 2 of the History Hour with Max Pearson. Still to come, a deadly leak of gases from a lake in Cameroon, and how the popularity of a toy called the Cabbage Patch Doll led to a bitter court case in the 1980s. Next, though, to Tanzania. When the East African country, then called Tanganyika, became independent from Britain in 1961, its leader, Julius Nyerere, made Swahili the national language in a bid to unite its people. Ben Henderson has been hearing from a man who had a personal understanding of the language policy's impact in Tanzania.
Nyerere's policy were to unite the people. He spoke also against tribalism and against each ethnic group demanding or feeling a certain kind of its own identity in order to create a big identity of Tanganyikans and eventually Tanzanians. The impact of Nyerere's policies was to make Kiswahili not just a language but a symbol of cultural pride.
This is Walter Baguya, founder of one of Tanzania's best-known book publishers, called Mkuki na Nyota. Like many Tanzanians, he spoke multiple languages as a child, including Swahili, or Kiswahili as it's also known. The language is mainly spoken in East Africa. Before Nyerere, it was one of many languages, reflecting the tribal divisions in the region, divisions which could lead to conflict. But in the run-up to the country's independence in 1961, things began to change. Here's British Pathé Archive from the time.
The sun shone upon the harbour at Dar es Salaam, and sunny too was every heart in the city itself, and not only in the city but throughout Tanganyika. A new nation had arisen. Independence had been achieved.
The whole campaign for independence was done in Kiswahili. Now, there were people who did not speak Kiswahili, who did not understand Kiswahili, but who were moved to learn and speak Kiswahili because of the messages that were being passed on in Kiswahili by the leaders of the parties, and Kiswahili began to penetrate even those areas where it did not do so before.
Today, the 9th of December, is for Tanganyika a historic occasion. It is the day when we turn our backs on servitude. Uhuru na kazi.
That was Nyerere on the night of independence in 1961. Walter was studying in the United States at the time.
I stayed 4 years in the US, over 4 years. During that time, I had literally had maybe 1 or 2 occasions when I met some Swahili-speaking people. So all the time I spoke English. So when I came back in 1965, I spoke a mixture of Swahili and English, switching codes as I went. Then I joined the foreign ministry and communication was Swahili. So I decided I would deliberately make sure I wrote Kiswahili and I spoke Kiswahili, and I would do everything to minimize using any English words in what I was saying or writing.
And how did Nyerere implement his policy practically?
Well, For instance, the first time we had, the first parliament in Tanganyika, Swahili was used as the language of parliament.
Nyerere opened Tanganyika's parliament in 1962.
Lakini hakuna hata moja ambalo tutalipuuza.
I say one of the other very important policies that strengthened Kiswahili and strengthened also national unity was the policy of Kiswahili as a medium of instruction in primary schools. You got obviously even more than ever, more children learning.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Work.
At home.
On your smartphone. The best radio show. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie, and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome.
Unclogs your sink and drainage by using this Drain Master Anti-Clog Cleaner by Rick Pin. This powder cleaning agent
broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
All of you make my heart beat. You make the doubt they fade, Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands, the hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same to the end. To the end. You are God. One who took my pain, took away my shame, Lord, He reigns. That's why forever call you great.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth and all of you on other planets as well. We want to salute you and welcome you to the Monday edition of the morning show. I am Archie, and from now until 12:30 I'm going to be your captain, but I'll be here joined by Mr. Koiki, another able production of my able producer Mr. Francis Guy this morning. But I say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to each and every one of you tuned in this morning to listen to us.
All of you makes my heart.
And I'm saying good morning to Bishop Adeshina, Anthony Adedeji Aziz, good morning to you. Olakunle, good morning. Samsudin, good morning to you. Rachel, good morning. And to you all wonderful people. My brother Felix all the way in Aberdeen. And to every one of you, Kofi Ali, Abdel Yakin, Mr. Kid Yosen, Reverend Michael Nunu, and every one of you who has been a blessing to Starr Radio. Okay, I want to salute each and every one of you. And I say, hey, if it's the first time of tuning in to listen to us, welcome on board Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. This program comes your way every weekday from 10 o'clock. But we have to crack on. Yes, moving on straight to the quote for the day. The quote for the day says what? It says, tailor your expectation to people's abilities and then praise them when they do well as well. So don't go just everything, chastising or bastardizing everything that people have done and then thinking that, this has to be done. They are not like you. They are not like you. They will have to be nurtured gently to get to that place. So what about that? Starr Radio UK. Now, when it comes to the quote for the day, my apologies, the weather forecast for this morning here in London and the southeast of England, this is how the weather is going to be for you. This afternoon will be overcast with showers or spells of rain. The rain could be heavy in places. There will be gusty winds too. A milder day expected. Tonight we'll continue to see spells of rain, heavy and persistent in places. The rain tapers off somewhat overnight, but showers are still likely. The top temperature is going to be 8 degrees, the lowest is going to be 5 degrees, and then UV level low, pollution low as well. Sunset is going to be at 15:53, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:47 hours. That is Starr Radio UK. Now taking you straight to the travel this morning, there's lots of issues going on, but on the underground this morning, the central line has got minor delays. That aside, all the others are running a good service. On the major roads in London, A40 and South Circular A205 have serious delays. That aside, all the others are running a good service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads, as I say all the time. Now moving on straight to the river bus, the Woolwich area has got reduced service. That aside, all the others are running a good service. The landing cable car is also running a good service, and that brings us straight to the final segment, that is the National Rail. Now on the National Rail this morning, Avanti West Coast, C2C, Chiltern Railways Cross Country, East Midlands Railway, Tech Trans-Pennine Express, Great Northern Railway, Great Western Railway, London North Eastern Railway, Northern Rail, Scott Rail, Southwestern Railway, and Thames Lanes have all got special services. Now, Gatwick Express has got no service at all, so check before you leave. That aside, all the others are running a good service. And that's why I will say once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you, wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
One who took my pain, took away my shame, Lord, you reign.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I bring your time now to 5 minutes to the top of the hour, and it's now time for us to go global. Trotting coming at a later time, but hey, I'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in at 11 o'clock to bring you all the updates that you need to know when it comes to the stories that is making the rounds. Where? All from Nigeria. So don't touch the dial at all. Let's move on. Now, when it comes to stories making the rounds in Nigeria, Chief Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba Nation agitators, Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho, has called on security agencies in the country to step up actions against herders who are killing farmers, destroying their farmlands, and raping their wives and daughters. Oh boy. Now this is what he was calling for. This is what he was creating awareness for, and then he was bastardized and pursued, and his life was a threat. He had to flee to Benin for safety, and we know all that has happened there. But what do you think about that? Alleged urbanization agenda. Why Tinubu can't neglect the North? Shagari's grandson is making a statement there, but we'll be telling you, because we know that it looks like the big hooks, or those who are in control of the APC, seem to be the Northerners, who are really calling the shots. Though Tinubu said that it's my turn to become a president, and he has pursued that. But lots more going to be coming your way from there. Cameroon, key suspects in murder case of journalist Martinez Zongo have been released. So what does that mean? Is that, well, they are the key suspects. So why have they been released? Is there any underhand dealings that have gone on? I wouldn't be able to say that, but I'm just thinking aloud. Now, troubled state-owned Transnet gets 2.5 billion to meet debt obligation. Some 15 freighters carrying 40,000 containers are still waiting to dock on Friday, compared with a peak of 70,000 containers last week, and that is in South Africa. Now, expatriate Egyptians begin voting for presidential elections. Now, do you think there's going to be any special, results or any extraordinary result coming from there? I'm not sure about that. Now, 70-year-old Uganda woman gives birth to twins. I did talk about that sometime last week. Malawians pursue opportunities in Israel amid economic challenges are some of the stories making the round. And climate change, one of the biggest threats to fighting poverty in our part of the world. But do you think that will bring about anything? Not sure, not sure, not sure. And then in Guinea-Bissau, army have detained suspects amid security forces. There was a bit of a rise up there, uprise there, and they have to curb it. The presidential election in Senegal, Sonko's candidacy, will be telling you more about all that in a moment. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio, okay? When it comes to Ghana as well, let's save our planet. Abu Jinapo is also saying the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources of Ghana, Samuel Abu Jinapo, delivered a compelling speech today on the theme Ghana's path towards net zero and zero energy poverty at the ongoing conference. Well, I tell you, it's all words. It's all words. Let me put it that way. And then there are some other stories making the rounds there. It's not that I'm not interested in what they are doing there, but they have this galamsey, and we see the land degradation that is going on, the wanton degradation of the lands there. This is not happening because we have the West coming in there to do anything, but we ourselves destroying the lands that we have, not doing things properly. And the same political big hooks who are making all that noise, being behind the scenes, working, putting people there to be working for them. So what do you think about all that? It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And then to add a story, it's making the round this morning. I was wrong. Dr. Theo Achampon makes U-turn after supporting Baumia's credit score claims. Oh. Okay, High Court ruling triggers removal of C.K. Tedam, University Vice Chancellor. What is the ruling, and what was that ruling, and how does it impact the university? We're going to be looking at that as well. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And interestingly, when it comes to Nigeria, one of the stories that I saw this morning, it says that U.S. says that they have the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria saying that they have actually interviewed about, is it 150 or 250? So they've interviewed 150,000 Nigerians in 2023 who want to jackpot to US. Oh boy, that is quite. Now, if you are a country and you have people trooping out of their country, running out of your country, and you say, you know what, just stay calm, we are doing everything, we are doing our best, then you want to ask yourself. Meanwhile, some people are living lavishly to this point that you ask yourself, are we living on the same planet? Are we living in the same geographical area or what? But Yomi is going to be telling us more about all that in a moment. Wherever you are, don't touch the dial. When it comes to other stories making the rounds this morning as well, on the world front, we have got Israel army in all areas of Gaza. A new evacuation ordered. A spokesman says operations are expanding amid warnings people are running out of place to flee. Now they ran from the north to the south. They are pursued from the south. Now where do they go now? Not that, after the distraction that have taken place in the north, they've reconstructed and say now move to the south, move back to the north, and then we can do whatever we want to do here. No. There is nothing there for you. We destroyed the south as well. But it's quite a tricky one. We're looking at all that. How do you fight an insurgency? Or how do you fight somebody who you know that is a threat? Are you going to just kill everybody across board? Well, now, U.S. warship shoots down Yemeni rebel drones in Red Sea. Some of the stories making the round this morning. Venezuela's vote to claim Guyana-controlled region. Now, over 95% of voters approve a territorial claim to oil-rich Esquibble electoral official has said. Is it yes? Okay, a murder, hitman, and South Africa's election. Those are some of the stories. A murder of Paris suspect raised concerns before the attack took place. We'll be telling you more about all that as the program goes on. And finally, in the UK, the North is racing ice ring Monday as freeze hits roads, and they are warning that people should not. If you are in that part of the world, in the UK, don't travel. Now, UK lawyers could be based in Rwanda in asylum plan. So now, if you take you are devoted to or you are sent to Rwanda, that you can apply for your visa to come to the UK. Then we have lawyers there who will be seeing to that as well. So you can say that, oh, we don't have anything. But do you think that is fair? Do you think that is good enough? Well, they're saying they are doing all that to stop the boats. Stop up the boats. What do you think? Raw sewage cover up at World Heritage Site. It's one of the stories. And then XL bully ban could lead to more attacks at home. Now, unsocialized dogs may become more dangerous, and other large breeds could replace XL, says vet. So, do we allow the XLs to move around and go on? I don't know, if you own a dog, how do you see the XL? That is it intimidating? And we're looking at the spate of attacks that have gone on recently, and you ask yourself, killing people. I mean, Saturday, there was an attack of the sort, but we'll be telling you more about all that. This is a lot more we're going to be looking at this morning. But wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Let's enjoy this tune while we have Ms. Olayomi Koiki joining us in the next moment. And it is a cover version of this song, Beyond Me by Shadrach Mensah. God looked beyond me. He didn't look at my guilt and shame and everything that I did, my sins, but he had mercy upon me. Enjoy this tune, and I'll bring you Miss Olayomi Koiki in the next few moments. Stay tuned. Don't touch the dial.
My sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You looked beyond me, oh. You looked beyond me, oh. Looked past my sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You looked beyond me, oh. You looked beyond me, oh. Look past my sin. Looked past my sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You look beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh. Look past my sin. Look past my sin, my guilt, my shame.
This is Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Look beyond me, oh. Look past my sin and guilt and shame. My sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You look beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. Lord, past my sin and guilt and shame. My sin, my guilt, my shame, and poured your love. You look beyond me. You look beyond me, oh. You look beyond me, oh.
Starr Radio UK.
Are you ready to turn it up?
Why you look past my sin, my guilt, my shame, and showed me your love? You look beyond me. God, the Lord, charge us with all our iniquities and everything. Nah, I will not be here. I see some people sit on their high horses that because they've been that good, that is why God has kept them. But I can tell you that it's got nothing to do with that at all. It's because He just looked beyond you and just showed you His mercy. You know, interestingly, I do ask people the question, you think that maybe somebody who went out and was maybe mauled by a dog or an attack took place and he lost their lives and stuff like that, didn't they pray? I tell you, somebody might even be praying like no man's business. Yet, so it takes the grace of God, and that's why I always say that when you find yourself alive, well and kicking, then boy, oh boy, need I say more? Know that it's the grace of God and give thanks and praise to the Almighty God and understand that there is life and therefore there is hope. And if there is hope, then I can tell you that I can take you to north of London, where I've got my own brother and colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who is all ready to bring you updates from Nigeria. You Look Beyond Me by Shadrach Yosin, a cover version of it. So wherever you are, just stay tuned. Don't you worry. We entered into the time of these Christmas festivities, and we're going to be bringing you lots of tunes to commemorate those times. But now, let me go to our North London studios and let me say good morning to you, Yomi.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Loud and clear, loud and clear. How are you? How was the weekend? How was the family?
The weekend was a very beautiful one, and it's great to be back after being away over the Friday. We couldn't join, but it's great to be back. It was a beautiful weekend, and I'll be telling you what took place because it was the Yoruba Thanksgiving Day, that brought in as many Yoruba people as far as France and different part of the globe, right in somewhere Brockley, which is not too far, as we are making your way down to Croydon. So that was how the weekend was spent. And yesterday, it was just a relaxation after the bitter weekend, because you can tell that those in Cumbria, as we speak right now, they're still trying to get electricity back on them. I've been listening to you. But as we always say, we got to be grateful wherever we are around the world, because sometimes things might not be what it is, as many people are also facing NEPA somewhere in that part of the world this morning.
Yeah, of course. We thank Allah, we thank God, we thank the Almighty for protecting us and giving us the grace to still have our lives. So wherever you are listening to us from, welcome once again to the program. Now,
if I just get just about 30 seconds.
All right. No problems at all. Whilst Yomi gets himself ready, I will let him tell us a bit about Professor Banji Akintoye's speech. That was a week ago. Yes, a week ago. Saturday was a week ago when he made that speech, and I just wanted to so that I can link it up with the story that is making the rounds this morning pertaining to the call by Chief Sunday Igboho to the security officials or heads in the country to stop the distraction by all these headsmen and everything that is going on, that is destroying them, and even they go in further raping their wives and their girl child as well. I mean, this is not on. But let's first of all go back to Yomi. I don't know whether he heard what I said pertaining to Professor Banji Akintoye's statement that he made a couple of weeks ago, because people were thinking that Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho is now in Germany, he's out of the of Benin, and therefore they think that when we are outside here we feel detached from the reality on the ground. But he's made a statement. But what did Professor say about the quest for that Yoruba nation? And then we come to Chief Sunday Igboho. Yomi.
Well, as the question is being raised all the time, whether the Yoruba people should exit the union that was brought together in 1914, it has been one of those arguments that we are better off as an independent country. But as you can tell, that many this morning still believe that since we have a new president, we should probably just stay back and wait. But Professor Adebanji Akintoye have restated continuously that the Yoruba people should have their own independent country, and that is why the campaign trail continue every now and then, even up to the message that was passed on over the weekend that says that the Yoruba people should have their own country far away from the present day Nigeria.
That is quite interesting. So far away from the present day Nigeria. How far can they go from where? It's the same geographical area, so they're going to be there. But we'll talk about that later. Maybe we'll build a very high wall like that of Trump, and then that will sort the issue out. But interestingly, let's talk about now. Yes, the weekend's program that pertaining to the Yoruba Nation Day, where we try to create more awareness, because as I said, when we live in the diaspora, people think we are detached from reality. So what is happening on the ground, we don't feel it, we don't see it physically. So it's a second-hand or a third-hand information. But fortunately, we have you who feed us with what is going on there. So how was the day? What was the purpose of that day as well?
Well, the purpose of the day was to, as it says, Thanksgiving, but initially it was to bring together, the congregation of many Yorubas, regardless of your political affiliation as well. But the most important thing is this was a particular event that was put together by a particular organization called the Yoruba Central Office, where, they had, quite a very robust and very impact in the lives of the Yoruba people in UK. I mean, we brought in the gentleman Dr. Okibe with so many of his honorable Alaja Adeyeye Moduk that decided that it was one that the Yoruba people gather, mingle, network, and we also saw there the mayor of Sodok, ex-mayor, and also many councillors, many people, and we also had people that flew in all the way from France. The whole reason for that again is to continue to highlight that the Yoruba people have contributed vast amount when it comes to Great Britain and around the world. And as we continue to foster the reason why we want to come out of Nigeria, it was a beautiful evening. In the cold weather, many people still turn around to attend and grace that event on Saturday, the 2nd of December, 2023.
Well, good gathering there, and I hope that we're not just raising consciousness, but people are actually adhering to it, and then we have the quest, and we hope that authorities are listening to that. Was there speeches from Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho? I know people came from France and this, and I don't know whether he managed to come to the UK for that. And then was there any speech from Professor Akintoye? And I mean, leadership. I mean, you should be able. I know that you are up there, but was there any speech of that sort?
Yeah, speeches and messages was delivered on behalf of these two great men of our time. As so many people say, they didn't meet Jesus Christ, neither did they meet Muhammad, but they met Professor Adebanji Akintoye in his 80 and Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, the two most important men that have stood firmly, for so many of the crimes against the Yoruba people. We lost about 30,000 people during the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, not just because of poverty, but because of the killings that took place, during, the reign, which is still continue, which we're going to discuss, this morning, because Oloye Dr. Sunday Igboho has sent out a message again regarding the killing to the president. So those two messages were quietly delivered, and again, many Yoruba people appreciate these two individuals.
Okay, listeners, Starr Radio UK, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios, and we're bringing you everything that you need to know when it comes to what is happening on the ground. As I said, we are not detached from what is happening on the reality on the ground, and that's why we manage to, or we try our best to bring you every information that is going on and break it down so that you can also have. But if you are listening to us, maybe you have a different feel of whatever is going on, you want to put it on our platform, feel free to do so. On all the social media platforms we are operating on, just post it, and we promise you that we're going to read that and acknowledge you as well. Starr Radio UK. Now, let's come to what the call by Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho, and the first question is, has that request gotten to the desk of the president?
Well, when Dr. Olayomi speaks, you can be rest assured that the message, gets not just to the president, it goes around the world, and that is the message, of hope. The insecurity in the land today has literally created more problems, and that is why, yesterday, Olayomi sent out another strong message, and the message is to the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu that is currently, at the COP28 in Dubai, even though that is also bringing its own controversy with about 1,400 Nigerians that traveled with him. What Olayomi said this morning is, Igboho to security agency step up effort against killer herders in the southwest of Nigeria, and likewise every other part as well. Again, Yoruba Nation agitator Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as AK Igboho, has called on security agency in the country, to step up actions against these Fulani herders who are killing farmers, destroying their farmland, raping wives and daughters, and killing husbands as well. Igboho sent this message out that says also that killers must now be stripped, ignited another tension in the land, just as yesterday there's so much killings in the Kwara state of the southwest of Nigeria. He also sent a message that the president of the Miyetti Allah, Abdullahi Bodejo, that has dismissed the quick notice recently issued to the Fulani herders in the southwest by Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, saying Nigerian citizens are allowed to reside and work anywhere they choose to. Well, Igboho hasn't, dispute that under the constitution, everybody has the right to live wherever you are, but you do not have the right to kill innocent Nigerians and innocent Yorubas, Igbos, Hausas, or those that are living in the Middle Belt as well. But according to Dr. Igboho, in a statement yesterday, Sunday, the 3rd day of the December 2023, said, the nation constitute does not support mindless killings of farmers, vicious rapes of their wives, destructions of farmland, which were rampant during the former President Muhammadu Buhari administration. He is now stressing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not tolerate such criminality. Starr Radio UK, I come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Well, listen, it's quite an interesting development there. But the issue is he's called on the security agencies to see to that. Now, somebody will say he is not the president. He is not. I mean, the president is the what do they call him? They have a term that they use. Is it the chief of staff? Staff. Okay, he is the chief of staff and commanding officer. So whatever he says becomes gospel. But so he is not. So it will take the president to make a statement or to call these ones to actually act, and then we can say that we're going to be getting an action from it. We know that because of his agitation and the calling the security agencies to order that they need to see to the dealing of this herdsman menace that brought about his pursuit, that he had to flee the country, that he nearly lost his life. Now, do you think that the security agencies, plus the fact that the president hails from Yoruba or the South, let me put it this way, the South, let me put it that way, okay, so that whoever, some people are saying, no, he's from the Southeast or whatever, so let's say from the South, so whether the East or the West. Now, do you think that will bring about a bit of a change in the attitude of the security agencies at all?
Well, and that is exactly what Dr. Olayomi emphasized in that particular statement yesterday. The statement that says that it is imperative for the Miyetti Allah group to be conscious of the fact that the act of lawlessness, permitted by the former President Muhammadu Buhari will not be hold swell under the immediate incumbent President Bola Tinubu. It will do them a good to perish the thought of unprovoked attacks on the farmers, and likewise, particularly in the Southwest, where we have lost many innocent farmers. Relevant security agencies and the people will not allow them to further compound the woes of the common man. We're again charging the head of the security agency to redouble their effort, strategies in ensuring the sustenance. Because while the inefficiency of the police and the Department of the State Security, Nigerian Civil Defense Corps and other paramilitary agencies to ensure security of lives and property, this was what the president promised during his campaign, not just to the Southwest, but to every Nigerian. But it seems those promises are failing, and many lives have been lost since President Bola Tinubu came to power on the 29th of May 2023.
Well, listen to Star Radio UK. Well, Olomide, good morning to you. I hope you are doing very well. And thumbs up to you as well. Thank you very much for joining in. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, let's link this story with another story. Now, I think the son of Shagari, is this the son of Shagari? One of them has made a call that, well, the urbanization agenda cannot happen because he's looking at Tinubu, who cannot neglect actually the north, because we are looking at the fact that though Tinubu comes from the south, east or west, as I did put it earlier on, but for him to be able to get himself out of them, the wife of the former president did say that there are some strong hands behind the scenes, some cabals who are pulling the strings and will tell you what to do. So though you might have a quest to do this, but they will tell you do that. Do you think that statement that Shagari's grandson is making, there is any truth in that, Yomi?
Well, you're quite right. There's truth in it, because at the end of the day, as we've said, most of the time it seems that, the former president that allowed, the jihadis, or actually opened the border, and said it in Morocco during one of his trips, that many of those that wants to come to Nigeria can do so. And, with the border that was not well tightened. And that has now led to what we are saying today. And it seems that, many are still finding it difficult to understand why the former president, a former military dictator, could not tackle the insecurity in the land. Well, let me link that again to another headline, because when it comes to security, the President Bola Tinubu's agenda is to bring in as many investors into the country. But the argument is, can investor literally come into the country when there is so much insecurity in place? How I dislodge Boko Haram founder Shekau, the ex-Niger State governor, is also coming out this morning. The former Niger State governor, Dr. Muzo Aliyu, has broken his silence on how his administration practically chased out the leaders of the dreaded Boko Haram insurgent from the state during his first time in office. Aliyu noted that if not that it chased the late Abubakar Shekau, the dreaded leader of the Boko Haram, and his lieutenant Abu Oka from Niger State, would have been the foundation of the sect. The ex-governor spoke, at the weekend at the annual public lecture election of the Nigerian Institute of the Public Relations in Kaduna branch, where he was a guest speaker. He also went further to say that he took over as the governor of Niger State. He discovered the camp of the Boko Haram insurgent and got the support of the president then, the late Usa Yaradua, to disperse them. The question is, why has the former president Muhammadu Buhari refused to tackle it? And that is why Dr. Olayomi is saying this morning that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must do exactly what he promised to deal with the menace of the insecurity that has now kept more poverty, because many people are even harvesting ahead of the harvest time because of the insurgency that is happening in the north. Also, some are still raw paying taxes to some of these Boko Haram terrorists. So many are concerned, and likewise Olayomi is concerned, even though he's far away in Germany. I spoke to him this morning, and he says we must continue to highlight this particular area, because it is one of the reasons that we are also saying that if the unity of Nigeria is not going to work, then we should come on the round table and discuss it so that we can save lives.
Well, listen, it's interesting. I mean, there have been few times that Professor Banji Akintoye, when the current president took office, now we had him writing a letter to him saying that we want you to address this issue. Now, there's not been any response from him yet, with the Northerners thinking that, well, because he hails from the South, so he's going to be, getting his Yoruba people to form that nation or thing. We're not very sure. But as to whether they're going to give them a chance to have a referendum to see whether people actually want to leave or still belong to Nigeria, it's another thing. We'll be talking about that as the days and the months goes on. But we see Nigeria, or Africa as a whole, as a place where agriculture is one of the main, contributor to our economy. And if we have people, going to their farms who cannot farm because of insurgency, we have all these menace in the north and everything that is going on. We have herdsmen who are also coming in then if the president, who had made lots of pledges saying that, they are trying to get people to the farms and those things and lots of loans, eventually we're going to come another 4 years and somebody's going to say that money didn't do anything. Yummy.
Well, you're quite right. That money couldn't do anything, but these new administration, there's a huge budget that is expected. We're looking at about almost 1 trillion has been allocated when it comes to the security. And the question many people have asked again is what has happened to the previous money that has been allocated during the previous budget as well. But again, there's so much when it comes to security. Security, is something that every country around the world is trying to fight to make sure that their loved ones and the country is stabilized. But we hope that this time around, as the reps are now ensuring a speedy passage of the 2024 budget, says the lawmaker, which is another headline, we hope that whatever the amount of 27 trillion naira for this particular budget will be used for all the purposes that these administrations have talked about. And as again, just coming in, gunmen kidnap Abuja landlord are now demanding 20 million naira ransom. Gunmen yesterday kidnapped 2 landlords in Asokoro extension of the area of the Federal Capital Territory. This is the capital city. And if you continue to hear this kind of headline that is happening from the capital city, Abuja, that means that we are all in danger, because if the FCT is not safe, you might as well think that what happened to someone in Adamawa, in Kaduna, in Katsina, in Sokoto, in Kano, even as far as Yola or somewhere in Rivers State. The gunmen are now demanding 20 million naira ransom. Like I always say, there's also crimes that takes here in UK. Reading the paper this morning, I picked on the hackers that were able to hack into, the royal family hospital, and they are now demanding 300,000 naira ransom, 300,000 pounds ransom. If not, they will be releasing those details. Even though, according to a security analyst, a former military, here in UK says, you might as well just pay that money, but that doesn't guarantee that they don't have a copy. Yeah. The insecurity is something that is a threat to any economy, and if you don't tackle that, with a very, very hard way, then you might end up having a country that is no longer governed by the government.
Well, listen, let's start ready. Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, now North London Studios. I'm Archie here in the South Studios. We're bringing you everything that you need to know when it comes to Nigeria. This morning, as it comes in, we will be bringing that your way. But to link this one to the next topic or story that we're looking at from Nigeria. Now, the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria is saying this morning that it has interviewed 150,000 Nigerians who, of course, want to japa. Now, if your home is okay, you get everything that you need to eat. You when it comes to security, you're okay and stuff like that. I don't think you want to leave your own home and say you're going to go to another place where you are not that respected. Okay? Yeah, you are tolerated in a way. Let me put it that way blatantly. Now, information coming through: hospitals reduce outpatients and surgeries as 4,000 doctors migrate. If you think that the system is good for them and everything is working out nicely, people are able to, whatever they are making, able to fend for themselves, their families, and do whatever, do you think they will be living? Yummy.
Well, as we always say, more people are still arriving. I literally got a call, on Friday. I've been receiving that call continuously until I returned the call, and I was told by the individual that, well, I've just arrived into the country. And I said, oh, welcome. Are you on a visiting visa? And are you going back? I said, no, I'm not going back. My wife came here on a student through dependent. I'm now living here, and what he's looking for? He's looking for a job. He's been here for 1 month. I mean, these are people that have been given the BRP. They have the national insurance number. And the job he's looking for is just a warehouse. Even though he has attended multiple interviews, he has not even get a job yet. Well, I give him another option to another area that he can look into. The question then is, if there's enough production, if Nigeria was growing, many of us would all work in the same warehouse, in any part of Nigeria to keep the economy going. Just like many Indians today would rather stay in India because it's now the 5th economy that is growing so fast. And the reason for that is there's enough production going on. As against Nigerians, we are losing not just doctors, we are losing talent. We are losing many Nigerians that wants to jump out. And like you said, hospital reduced outpatient surgery as 4,000 doctors have now left Nigeria. Well, the question then is, who take care of these young ones, the elderly, which is the most key area when it comes to health sector in the world? Well, according to the migration of doctors, other health workers to other countries is taking a toll. Over 141,000 Nigerians have arrived in UK. There's about close to 200,000, still trying to get an appointment, for visa to America. And there's no visa appointment till probably middle of next year. That tells you that many Nigerians are not just thinking of migrating now for study, they are thinking of exiting the country. How this is going to be stabilized is a question that people wants to know, the policy, the formation that this current administration will be putting in place. But it seems already, Nigerians are complaining already, if there's about 1,400 Nigerians travel with Bola Tinubu to the COP28, it seems that the item number 7 that I will leave for Nigerians to check on the social media is generating a lot. And item number 7 has got to do with a female, but I will probably leave the name like that without bringing it on the social media. But item number 7 is quite an interesting one on the list. There's another name on it, Shagori. Shagori are individuals well known around the world, but also for their own criminal as well. Many Nigerians are asking why we left other Nigerians and taking Shagori with this list as well. So you can see that there's a lot of tension going on in the country, and it seems that, as we say, politicians pity us.
Pity for us or pity on us? Listeners, Starr Radio UK. So let's talk about this entourage of the president to COP28. Now, I look at everything there. In Ghana, our own citizens are doing this illegal mining and are destroying water bodies. I mean, environment. The wanted destruction that is going on, or the wanton destruction that is going on, is beyond reason. And it's a matter of time that we will get to a point where they have to import water into the country to be able to drink, because when they are doing this mining, there are all these minerals that they use, especially mercury, and then that actually goes into the water bodies, killing fishes and every biological organic organisms in there and stuff like that. So I mean, whatever we are looking at, the ecosystem being destroyed and stuff like that. But when it comes to Nigeria, we are looking at where the funds or a lot of money comes from, and that is from crude oil, which at the moment even we are not even refining in the country. We talked about what was happening to what they call Dangote's refinery, and what is going to happen, the fact that they cannot even supply him with crude oil. Somebody the other time, that economic brain there in Nigeria made a statement that he doesn't understand why they cannot make an allocation to Dangote, that he needs to go out, go and buy some, bring it, and then by the time he finishes, the price is even going up. So it all doesn't make sense. But why did the president take an entourage of up to about 1,000 plus to that place? Well, how many planes did they fly on?
Well, I guess the presidential flight and probably maybe another extra 2, and that makes it 3. That is in itself has created more emission, as many of us have talked about. I mean, these are literally generated. This message of why these 1,400, and let's see if we can get a bit of the background to that as well this morning, as uproar over Nigeria 1,411 men delegation to COP28 that is currently taking place in Dubai. Some say that since we couldn't get a visa to Dubai, it seems that some are probably taking that opportunity to get into Dubai for Christmas, because they'll be there till the 12th of December, and some might probably extend their stay there. Well, as we do know, many says that the government needs to be saving, but the government says they're trying to save, but we should all also buckle up as well. Lagos, criticism yesterday greeted the high number of delegate Nigeria sent to the ongoing conference of the parties known as COP28 Climate Summit in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The UAE, at a time of austerity that the federal government was urging the citizenry to make some sacrifice, Nigerian account for 0.319% of the global carbon dioxide emission, but our 1,400 delegate is joint third largest with China after the host nation, United Arab Emirates, with 4,419, Brazil 3,000, followed by Indonesia 1,299, Japan 1,000, Turkey 1,000, and also the highest global carbon dioxide. The official delegation of some of the top countries are Canada, Japan. We know that the US president is not attending and the Chinese premier is not attending as well. But it seems that also we've seen where pictures, videos, where even the president next to King Charles was almost overshadowed by another individual until somebody shouted out and say, "You are blocking the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria." I'm not sure what the president himself decided not to speak out. But as we say, however, the federal government said it was not the one footing the bills of these 1,411 delegates. Some of them will have to pay for their own. But picking holes in the number of the delegate Nigerians sent to the summit, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, demand roll call and the cost incurred by the federal government delegate and also all the National Assembly to probe this incident.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It's now gone 11:39, and therefore we'll go straight to Yomi for the rest of the stories making the rounds and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much. It is still, the first week back again on Monday, where we continue with the headline coming from Nigeria this morning, as we go straight to discuss some of the other headline that we picked up this morning as well. Once again, as many Nigerians continue to find out why over 1,000, and you can see some of those pictures that the engineer have just uploaded behind you there. 10 years as robbers stabbed ATBU final year student to death is one of the headline as well. Protests rock Unical over fee hike as student block major roads in Calabar. Also, SGF to Nigerians, keep faith, there is hope for Nigeria. This is coming from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has expressed optimism about Nigerians' future, urging citizens not to give up on the government. Akume actually expressed this optimism at the National Solemn Assembly, a day of praise, worship, thanksgiving to God for Nigeria, held at the National Eremika Center in Abuja over the weekend. He said Nigeria was undoubtedly a gifted country, but noted that it had been in need of visionary leadership. He therefore urged the nation to offer prayers for the country's leaders and its success. The SGF called for the support and the cooperation of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu Renew Hope agenda, which is aimed at propelling the country forward in winning manner. Well, we leave that for Nigeria to decide whether that is something they want. Also, Nigerian economy begins major shift as the oil sector rebound. Is coming from another headline. There are indications that the Nigerian economy is reversing back to oil sector led development, while the gains made in the non-oil sector is also reversing as well. We're going to go straight to what is still going on in Ondo State. It seems that Akeredolu and matter is still, as we speak, up to a week ago right now. Officials signing document in Governor Rotimi Akeredolu's name, Ajulo alleges. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Kayode Ajulo, today alleged that some officials in the administration of the Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu were literally signing documents on behalf of the ailing governor. We know that this governor is very, very sick. He's not feeling very strong, but it seems that he's still holding on to the power in Ondo State. The senior advocate of Nigeria, Ajulo, who is the principal partner of Kayode Ajulo and co-caster of law, says this on one of the mainstream media in Nigeria program this morning. According to him, the deputy governor, Lucky Ayeditewa, that has been trying to become the governor, but seems that is not coming forward, cannot take over from the governor since the power has not been transferred to him constitutionally, making way for the hijack of the state governance by the cabal. The question is, if the hailing governor is not doing very well, then advantage will be taken against him, as we can tell that many people are now signing documents on his behalf. We're going to go swiftly for one more, which is something when it comes to violence against different gender in Nigeria. The United States is now pledging support for groups tackling gender violence in Nigeria. Gender violence happens around the world, just as it happens in Africa as well. The United States Charge Affairs David Greene has hailed local organization tackling sexual and gender-based violence in Nigeria. Remember on Thursday I talked about, on my way back on Wednesday from the studio, you do not move too close to a woman or any other person on the train, because you could be charged for sexual harassment. But this happen day in, day out in many of these transportation. Even when you go on the Okadas, sometimes, the Okada rider is just trying to rest their shoulder on those women that they're carrying, and you could tell that that is also a sexual harassment. But who talks when there's no law that can do it? According to the report, gender-based violence is a human right abuse, a form of discrimination, and a manifestation of unequal power based on gender. This was on Saturday at an event that was held in Lagos that says no tolerance march. And like they say, we hope that Bamishe Anyawala and many of those that have been killed, Jumoke Ileke, we will get justice for them, as justice is also being requested for Mohbad. What is happening this morning on the social media, where many Nigerians come through? It seems that the trending of the Fulani is trending this morning, and let's pick on what is trending on that, because that's the reason why Dr. Loyigbo literally released a message to that as well. According to Sisley, for those who are genuinely asking and not trying to push an agenda, the activities of the bandit and the killer Fulani herdsmen has not reduced. Is still reported by media daily. 15 hours ago, bandit attacked 2 communities in Sokoto, killed 7, kidnapped several. That is something that is still quite worrisome for so many of us as well. So that seems to be the reason why also the northern groups are giving President Bola Tinubu 21 days to attend to their demand for ransom to be paid for the damage that occurred in Shasha and also during the NSAS, and the reason why they have been killed in the southeast. And if not, they'll be blocking every road that brings food into the southwest. Many people in the southwest are saying, well, maybe it's time for them to keep the food so that we can then look back into why our own farmers have not been allowed to farm because of the Fulani terrorists that have been operating on that path as well. Also this morning, it seems that, Bashir Ahmed was one of those media aide of the former President Muhammadu Buhari. From report, I can't verify that yet, but it seems that 3 months after he has left office, he's still being paid wages. You wonder maybe that is just something that the office are probably not taking him off, and he has been paid. Will he be paying this money back? Report coming on one of the mainstream media in Nigeria says he has left office, but wages is still being paid, while so many Nigerians are not being paid. There's still tension between the Yorubas and the Igbos, especially with the ongoing Lagos state. Even Benin says they own Lagos. Everybody seems to own Lagos. And that is now becoming back to back with so many space that I've listened to. And some of those things coming out of it can tell that there's so much tension. Showore is trending. Showore is a good friend of the Starr Radio UK. And if I pick on what he says, probably the reason why it's trending, Showore believes that it's still revolution that will bring the solution to Nigeria. And this is what he actually says on the COP28 some 4 hours ago. Nigeria lives a lie. Nigeria loves liars. Close to 1,500 Nigerians at the highest level accompanying President Bola Tinubu to COP28 at the United Arab Emirates in Dubai just to sustain a lie that is healthy or well, or that is aware of his environment, or that he knows what he's doing. Even all lies, even all his lies, even all these are lies. Every lie has an expiration date. Why Tinubu did not speak at the COP28 as scheduled, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tugad. Well, I'm not too sure why he hasn't spoken, but the same Showore says Nigeria loves lies and they love the liars as well. Well, we don't have Lai Mohammed anymore. We have another one called Mohammed, but not Lai Mohammed, the information minister. That is about it at 11:46. And like I said, it is back to back on the social media. Kaduna is trending, and we know that so much has happened. Even El Rufai said no Christian will ever be the governor of Kaduna State.
Yeah. Well, listeners, those are updates from Nigeria. Let me say good morning to Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, who has also joined us. Pastor Emmanuel Chidi, I hope you are doing very, very well. And to all the big shops and the big men of God on the platform as well. Pastor Momo, long time. I hope you are doing very well as well. And my bishop, the Adeshina, I hope you are doing well too. And if you are a bishop or my apostle would say Pope, and I've not acknowledged you, please, I quote you, sir. And thank you very much. And to all the chief imams and all, yes, the big hooks there who are.
What about the traditionalists?
The traditionalists as well. We salute every one of you. Yes. Thank you very, very much.
We have a lot of them that are listening as well from Nigeria. Because I know that the Starr Radio UK is giving them all the latest update that they would love to hear.
Yes. So thank you very, very much. Yomi, before you go.
Well, I'll be back again tomorrow, but for now, I'll leave you in the good hands of Archie. And like Dizzyman123 said, the court has ruled that to send migrants to Rwanda is actually illegal.
Well, that's what they said. But what do you think? Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Yomi will be joining me tomorrow for another updates from Nigeria. But wherever you are, stay tuned. I'm going to bring you some lovely Christmas tune from Nigeria this time round. So stay tuned and let's enjoy that tune. It says, Shimesi. I hope I pronounced it well. I didn't massacre it. Enjoy it and I'll be with you.
The people that walked in darkness have seen a great light.
And they that dwell in the land of the shadow of death,
upon them is the light of the Almighty God revealed.
Therefore will we rejoice and be glad, like in the time of the great harvest.
For the Lord has made us glad.
Thank you, Lord, for Christmas.
Kérésìmesì ọdún dé, àdúpẹ́, bàbá ẹ ṣé. Kérésìmesì ọdún dé.
Are you ready to turn it up?
You are listening to Starr Radio News.
And the angel of the Lord said unto Mary, you shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins.
The same Jesus who was born of the Virgin Mary, he is the Son of God, the image of the invincible God, the firstborn of every creation, the joy of the world.
Kérésìmesì ọdún dé, àdúpẹ́, bàbá ẹ ṣé. Kérésìmesì ọdún dé.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK.
For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, Jesus.
This is Starr Radio UK. UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
This is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agent, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to exactly 3 minutes to the top of the hour. That means 3 minutes to 12. So wherever you are, just stay tuned. Don't you go away, because we're going to be looking at other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. And you can also share your take with us. But just in case you want to call in, feel free. It is 0208-133-2257. And then for those of you who want to WhatsApp or text us, it's 0753966174 for 0753966174 for our Twitter handle is Star Radio UK, and email address is info. I say Twitter. Our X handle is Star Radio UK, and email address is info@starradiouk.com. So don't be a stranger. Let your voice be heard as others have. All right then. So now let's move on. Let's look at some of the other stories making the rounds this morning. Yes, when it comes to Africa. Now, South Africa intercepts buses carrying more than 400 unaccompanied children from Zimbabwe. Now, border officials in South Africa say they have intercepted dozens of buses carrying more than 400 children from Zimbabwe without parents. Where are they going? What jobs are they going? I mean, they are being taken to South Africa. What are they going to be involved in? We'll bring you more about that. Now, Guinea-Bissau exchanges of fire after the release of 2 ministers. Now, Guinea-Bissau National Guard soldiers freed 2 members of the government who were being questioned by the police on Thursday night before exchanging of fire. We'll be bringing you more about that. And at least 20 wounded. Let me bring that your way. Nigeria calls for Niger junta to free ousted president. Would they even hack into that at all with everything that has gone on there? It is going to be a wonderful one. And Sierra Leone President Julius Maada Bio addresses Sierra Leoneans. We'll be telling you more about all that in a moment. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. Burkina, Niger to quit the anti-jihadist force G5 Sahel. So virtually they're going to take their own battles and then fight it. Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger look to form a federation. Of course, yes, I know that it's something that was on their minds that they were going to be doing. But let's pick this one first. Now, border officials in South Africa say they have intercepted dozens of buses carrying more than 400 young children from Zimbabwe without parents or legal guardians in anti-trafficking operation. The officials say the children were being trafficked into South Africa, although an organization representing foreign nationals living in South Africa says it is likely the children were being sent to visit their parents who are working in South Africa for the end of year holidays. The buses were sent back to Zimbabwe. Now, more than 1 million Zimbabweans live in South Africa, and many of them illegally have moved to their southern neighbor over the past 15 years to escape Zimbabwe's economic turmoil. Now, South Africa's Border Management Agency Commissioner Mike Maziapato said Sunday that South African police stopped and searched 42 buses entering from Zimbabwe on Saturday night and found 443 children under the age of 8 traveling unaccompanied. Now, South Africa's Border Management Agency Commissioner Mike Mizia, we denied, in a quote, he said, we denied them entry and activated the Zimbabwean officials to process them back into Zimbabwe, Masiapato said. The buses were allowed through on the Zimbabwean side of the Beit Bridge border post, South Africa's border officials said. Ngabuto Mabena, chairperson of the African Diaspora Forum, which represents foreign nationals living in South Africa, said his organization believed the buses were carrying Zimbabwean children coming to South Africa to visit their parents, which is regular phenomenon near the end of the year. If that is what they were coming there for, that is a good one. But if it is other stuff, bringing them in, trafficking them so that They'll be using them for menial jobs. But again, the question is, why are our leaders living like the ostriches who think that everything is fine, burying their heads and thinking everything is fine, because they say, everything is fine, but your people are trooping out of the country because they are desperate. But they will say everything is okay. They will go negotiate deals, sign deals that at the end of the day, if you evaluate it, you see that it's not going to actually add to us, but rather just subtract or take or divide or take a one-to-one percentage of whatever we earn. And it's a sad situation there, but it's happening. Now, moving on straight to Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau National Guard soldiers freed 2 members of the government who were being questioned by the police on Thursday night before exchanging gunfire with special forces, according to a military and intelligence sources. The Minister of Economic and Finance, Suleiman Saidi, and Secretary of State for the Treasury, Antonio Monteiro, had been summoned by the judiciary on Thursday morning and then taken into custody. The judicial police questioned the 2 senior officials for several hours about the withdrawal of $10 million from state coffers, according to the same sources who spoke on condition of anonymity for security reasons. Mr. Saidi had been questioned by MPs about the withdrawal during the session of the National Assembly on Monday. He claimed that the withdrawal was legal and intended to support the national private sector. Now, according to the same sources, at around 10 p.m. on Thursday evening, that same time GMT, members of the National Guard and Army unit exfiltrated the minister and the Secretary of State from the premises of the judicial police, took them to an unknown destination, and then retreated to barracks in the Santa Lucia district, the same sources have said. The heavy gunfire was then heard on Friday morning in this district in the south of capital Bissau, according to our reporters. Military and intelligence sources said the special forces intervened against the National Guard after several unsuccessful attempts at mediation. An exchange of fire ensued before calm was restored, they added. AFP journalists observed that the elements of Guinea-Bissau Stabilization Support Force deployed in the country by the Economic Community of West Africa were seen patrolling the streets of Bissau on Friday morning. These events come as President Umaru Sissoko Embalo, elected in December 2019 for a 5-year term, is in Dubai to attend the 28th United Nations Climate Conference. A small poor country in West Africa, Guinea-Bissau suffers from chronic political instability and has been the victim of a string of coups, the fourth since its independence from Portugal in 1974, the most recent in February 2022. In September, President Embalo appointed 2 generals, Thomas Jazzy and Horta Inter, as head of the Presidential Security and Chief of Staff, respectively. These 2 posts provided for in the official organization chart had not been filled for several decades. So maybe they have them there. So they see that, well, we also wield some power, and therefore that should quell insurgency. But are we seeing that at all? Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. In other stories making the rounds this morning, Nigeria is calling for the release of ousted Niger President Mohamed Bazoum for the military junta to allow him to leave for a third country, its foreign minister has said. Nigeria's current chair of the regional group Economic Community of West African States, which has imposed sanctions on Niger following the July coup that ousted Bazoum. The ECOWAS had been demanding Bazoum's immediate ECOWAS has been demanding Bazoum's immediate return to the presidency, but the military junta has kept him in detention and says it may need up to 3 years for a return to civilian rule. We are asking them to release President Bazoum so that he will be allowed to leave Niger. Nigerian Foreign Minister Yusuf Tuga told local, that's Nigeria's Foreign Minister. He will go to a third country that is mutually agreed, and then we start talking about the removal of sanctions. He said ECOWAS was still open to talks with Niger's junta. Those are some of the stories making the rounds there. It is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, one other story, and then we can leave that part of the world and move on. Okay. Yes, we'll be looking at that. All right, 8 minutes past the top of the hour. The time. Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, your program. The foreign ministers of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have recommended on Friday creating a confederation as part of a long-term goal of uniting the West African neighbors within the federation. The top diplomats of the Alliance of Sahel States met in Bamako for 2 days. Their discussions aim to flesh out the workings of a new alliance, with the ministers emphasizing the importance of diplomacy, defense, and development to consolidate political and economic integration. Malian Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop said the recommendations will be submitted to each head of state, who are due to meet in Bamako at unspecified date. The country's economy and finance ministers, who met on late November, advised creating a stabilization fund, an investment bank, and a committee that would study an economic and monetary union. Well, at least they are planning something. They are doing something to make sure that everything works well. Okay, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story, and then we move on from there. This time around from Sierra Leone. In an announcement, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone has declared that the recent incident of November 26 was beyond any doubt an attempted coup d'etat. The president revealed that investigations carried out by the security and intelligence community strongly indicate and premeditated and coordinated effort to overthrow the democratically elected government through violent and unlawful means. President Julius Maada Bio addressed the nation, expressing the gravity of the situation. He stated their actions was premeditated and coordinated and was executed to unseat the democratically elected government by violent and unlawful means, topple constitutional order, and reverse our decades of investment in peace and democracy. Now, the president's words underline the severity of the incident, which was not merely a spontaneous event, but a calculated move to disrupt the established democratic order in Sierra Leone. The assailant aimed to dismantle the constitutional structure the nation has diligently built over the years, strengthening the peace and democratic progress achieved through significant investment. President Bio emphasized that his government will treat the attempted coup as a matter of law and order, devoid of any political, tribal, or religious considerations. He sought to reassure the public that the response to this incident will be guided by pursuit of justice and adherence to the rule of law. The attempted coup will therefore be dealt with by my government purely as a law and order issue, not a political, tribal, or religious matter. Therefore, let us all be rest assured that we will follow the evidence wherever it leads us. President Bio declared, asserting the commitment to a thorough and impartial investigation. He said, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on to other part of Africa. This time around in Ghana, let me bring you one other story, and then we'll move on from there. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources of Ghana, Samuel Abunjinapo, delivered a compelling speech today, and that was Ghana's path towards net zero and zero energy poverty at the ongoing conference of parties hosted in Dubai by the United Arab Emirates. Addressing an audience comprised of both Ghanaians and foreign government officials, industry leaders, and environmental advocates, the minister highlighted the urgent need for action to combat climate change while calling for sustainable financing to save the planet. Mr. Jinapo proudly shared the significant progress that has already been taken by Ghana by stating that over the past few years, we have had to expend our limited resources on the protection of our forests and implementation of our aggressive afforestation and reforestation program, including flagship Green Ghana project, under which some 42 million trees have been planted over the last 3 years, and the Ghana Forest Plantation Strategy, under which we have cultivated some 690,000 hectares of degraded forests in just 5 years. He added that under the Ghana Cocoa Red Plus program, Ghana has reduced emission of 972,456 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent to for the first accounting period of June and December 2019, which has verified and validated generating a result-based payment for $4,862,280 United States dollars. Now, he pleaded forcefully that the Agency of Climate Finance generally and the Forest and Nature Finance specifically must be amplified because it is the most effective tool for achievement the 1.5 degrees Celsius target set in the Paris Agreement. Mr. Jonapo reminded developed nations of the $100 billion climate finance pledge made in Copenhagen almost 1.5 decades ago, and the $3 billion as part of the United States President's Emergency Plan for Adaptation and Resilience program, and cautioned that until these commitments are met, the world will not realize its targets. Now, the question that I've been asking myself, what have we done about the Galamsey, where there is a land degradation, water bodies being destroyed, and everything, environmental degradation? What have we done about it? It's another menace that is going on. But because they are the big hooks behind it, we say, let it be controlled thing. Have a corporate, cooperation, form a group, and then get them. So you know that you've allotted this land to them. You take some of their whatever they are making, monies that they are making, a percentage of it for land reclamation, and then you can do that, and then we supervise it. But no, they want to milk it. So they are there behind the scenes doing all sorts. But in a desperate economy, do you blame the people who are there, who know that, well, those at the helm are just raking it into their pockets and making their families whatever they were, making the rich and everything, yet they are at the bottom end or the receiving end, not getting anything, and therefore they also have to survive? Then they do. Desperate situation calls for desperate measures, and that seems to be what exactly they are doing. Now, we want them to stop doing that. Then we need to make sure we give them something else. But our policies and everything that we are doing, our strategies that we put across, oh boy, it leaves lots to be desired. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, we take one other story before we come to other parts of the world, and we take a commercial break, and then we come to other parts of the world where there is lots happening there as well. And this time round, in other parts of the world, we have Israeli army in all areas of Gaza, and the question is, where are the Gazans or the Palestinians going to be moving to? They were in the north. They told them to move to the south. Now the war has now transcended to the south. Now, do they go back to the north where there are no amenities there because they've all been destroyed, or what do they do? Lots more going to be coming your way from there. Just bear with me because we'll be bringing the program to a close in the next 13 minutes. But bear with me whilst I take this break so I can have a sip of some water. Stay tuned.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the final segment of the program this morning. It is Starr Radio UK, 90 minutes past the top of the hour, so 11 minutes more to bring the program to a close. But wherever you are, feel free and so share your take with us. Then other stories making the rounds this morning. The 130 kilogram bomb got caught in a fisherman's net and had to be detonated by the Danish Navy. Well. So a moment huge World War II bomb detonates off coast of Denmark. It was a big one there. Well. Interesting development. And 11 hikers killed as Indonesia volcano erupts. Another 12 hikers are missing after Sumatra's mountain Merapi shot a huge ash column in the air. And murder of Paris suspect had reported concerns about this attacker, the Paris attack. Now let me bring you that story and then we can move on straight to other stories in other parts of the world and then come to the UK. The murder of a man suspected of stabbing a German tourist to death near the Eiffel Tower in Paris reported concerns about her son's week before the attack, the prosecutor has said. Now, two others, including a British man, were injured in the attack on Saturday. A 26-year-old French man was last arrested and anti-terrorism prosecutors opened an investigation. France Interior Minister said there was a failure in the alleged attacker's psychiatric treatment. Now, Gerald Damien said that the attacker had an acute mental illness, adding that doctors said on several occasions that he was doing better, was more normal, and could be freed. Which doctor made that recommendation? Now, prosecutor Jean-Francois Ricard said the suspect had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. Now, Armand R., a French national born in France to Iranian parents, converted to Islam age 18. The prosecutor said he was imprisoned in 2016 for 4 years after making plans to travel to Syria to join IS. Now, Mr. Ricard said the suspect had been under surveillance for suspected extremism and that 3 people, including a member of his family, had been detained for questioning. He told reporters that the alleged attacker's mother reported concerns about her son's behavior in late October as he had turned in on himself. However, there was not enough information to allow for a new prosecution, he added. The police said the suspect was supposed to be following treatment for psychiatric problems. Wow. Wow. But well, listen at Starr Radio UK. So what do we do as a medical team or as a medical, for our medical experts? What do they have to do? And then our security, that when your family member come to say that we think that this family member of ours is a bit, let me put it this way, suspicious, then what do we do? But well, you want to know more, you got to stay in there and make sure you can hear us loud and clear as we bring in the program to a close pretty soon. The president of the ongoing UN climate talk, Sultan Al-Jaber, has hit back at claims that he denies a core part of climate change. Let me say good afternoon to Sir Lanre Aregbe. I hope you are doing very well as well. Thank you very much. He says, good work, brother. Good work to you for joining us as well, and good afternoon to you. Now, the talks in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, aim to make progress on tackling climate change. He was speaking this morning. He said, we very much believe and respect the science. All countries at the UN climate talks in 2015 agreed to slash releases of warming gas in order to keep the average global temperature rise below 1.5 degrees as compared to pre-industrial levels. But in an online event on 21st of November with Mary Robinson, the chair of the Elders Group and the former UN Special Envoy for Climate Change, Ms. Jaba, appeared to deny that there is no science out there or no scenario out there that says that the phase out of fossil fuel is what's going to achieve 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit, he said. On Monday, the fifth day of the UN talks, Mr. Gerber said, let me clarify where I stand on the science. I honestly think there is some confusion out there and misrepresentation. I'm quite surprised at the constant and repeated attempts to undermine the work of the COP28 presidency, he said. I am an engineer by background. Science has been central to my own career, progress, and yes, I respect the science in everything I do, he added. Mr. Jabber, 50, trained as an engineer and economist. I've said over and over, the phase down and the phase out of fossil fuel is inevitable. He added in one of their strongest statements yet about the future of oil, coal, and gas. He spoke on Monday, sitting next to the chair of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Jim Skier. I can say Dr. Sultan has been attentive to the science, Professor Skier said. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, moving on to the one other story from the world front, and then we can move on straight to what is happening in the UK. The Israeli military says it's expanding its ground operation in all areas of the Gaza Strip following the resumption of fighting on Friday. It has therefore this morning posted on social media a fresh order for the people to evacuate about 20 areas on the Palestinian enclave. Its forces have been pushing further south amid warnings from humanitarian groups that Gazans are running out of places to flee. Now, senior U.S. officials earlier reiterated their view that Israel had a right to defend itself, but added that its soldiers must protect civilians. Well, what is going to happen? But we'll talk about it tomorrow, God willing. But for now, let's move on. Minimum visa salary to rise under migration curbs. That's a story that has come through this morning from the UK front. And the story says the government is expected to hike the minimum salary for foreign workers as part of plans to curb record legal migration levels. It's understood the minimum salary for skilled worker visa will rise from the current level of 26,200. There are also expected to be caps on visas for the healthcare workers and number of dependent migrants can bring to the country. Further conditions on some student visas are also expected. Ministers have been facing pressure to act on legal migration after figures last week showed net migration hit 745,000 last year. The new measures are expected to be announced in the House of Commons later by the Home Secretary James Cleverly. The new minimum salary has yet to be confirmed, but there have been reports it could rise above 35,000. The Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to reduce migration levels, which have risen since Brexit, despite Tory 2019 elections promise to reduce them. So the question is, if election is called today, how is the Conservative Party going to fare? Well, do you pay license fee? An increase to the BBC's license fee by almost £15 would absolutely be too much, the Culture Secretary has said. Lucy Frazier said she was concerned the significant rise in the fee would add the cost of living to the cost of living pressures. Now, the license fee has been frozen for the last 2 years at £159, but is due to rise in April in line with inflation. It's currently expected to increase to 173.30 a year, but Miss Frazier, said she was looking at which measures of inflation to use to calculate the rise. But if you were there and you don't watch BBC, so you don't watch BBC, you're watching ITV, you're watching Netflix, and doing all that stuff. What do you think? What do you think? But lots more going to be coming your way sometime tomorrow when we come your way once again. But on that note, let me say, have a very, very good day wherever you might be. And you know what? Don't touch the dial. So Starr Radio UK is going to bring you lots of other programs. We're going to be revealing new programs that we're going to be bringing your way come the new year, from health to name it. We're going to be bringing all that your way. We've got some experts who are going to be joining us as well. On that note, it's been me, Archie, Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy, saying have a lovely day till we see you tomorrow. Just ciao, bye, au revoir from us in the studio. Bye.
So this is Christmas, and what have you done? Another year old.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio UK.
And so this is Christmas.
Thanks for listening.
Without any
is Christmas, yeah, yeah. Tell me why